All right, guys. Head turns. And center. And head rolls. And down to center and reverse. And down to center and back up. Forward spinal wave. And reverse. And good. The qua. And reverse. And good. Belly rolls. And reverse. And good. The windmill. And squats, starting on the left leg. And then the right leg. And the left leg again. And the right leg again. And prayer position. Okay, hands on the knees, up slowly. Keep your head down a moment. shoulders. And reverse. And the other side. And reverse. And alternates. And reverse. And double. And reverse. And good. Elbows. And reverse. And the other side. And reverse. and alternate. And reverse. And double. And reverse. The secret to this move and a lot of other moves is not to separate your arm from the turning of your body. Remember, you've got a central channel that goes up and down in the body. You can think of it as the axis of rotation. So that you're going to rotate on that. When you do this move, for instance, the reason your hand and your arm move is because your center line moves. So they're not separated, right? They're actually quite close, and that means when you use this, say to block something, right, or to hit someone, you're using your whole body instead of just your arm. Right? Um, I'm doing it a little mechanically because we're talking about it here. But um, when you come up, it's like your forearm needs to come parallel to this. Now it doesn't exactly, but it should feel like it is, right? They're more or less parallel. So they're not like this, not like this, all right? It's like this, which is you got to tuck your elbow in there a little bit, all right? I didn't really mean to do this, but I guess I might as well do it. Your quad, right? Your hip joints have to be involved. They always have to be involved in every move, but they definitely have to be involved in this one here. Watch the one on the right. If I'm going to tuck my elbow in, how do I tuck it in? You tuck your elbow in by sinking in your hip, right? And then you rise up out of that. And now I'm going to sink in the blue one on the right side to tuck my elbow and then open. Tuck on the red, open. Tuck on the blue, open. Tuck on the red, open. Tuck on the blue, open. And that way your arm is really coordinated with your whole body, particularly your center. When you first start practicing it, you should be real physical with it. You should really try to get these parts of the physical mechanics of the body moving, which means you're probably going to have to exaggerate them a little bit. And this is true for all the moves, not just this one, right? So you sink, come up, right? Sink, come up, right? Sink, come up. Once your body gets the idea, it's not whether your head gets the idea. When your body gets the idea, then you can lighten up a little bit. Because you can end up, if your body mechanics are correct, and you're not fighting them being incorrect, and they're correct and they support you, then you can focus on the energy flow. And that means the physical part can be lighter because the heavy work is being lifted up by the energy body, right? So when I actually do this exercise, right, I don't go down and come up and down and come up. It's much lighter than that. But watch my hips. Can you see that I'm sinking? Sinking in the right, sinking in the left, sinking in the red, sinking in the blue. Kevin, does this make sense? Right? So the first few months that you do this, get into it physically even more than I'm doing, and really try to feel the connection between different parts of the body, and particularly try to feel the connection in this case between your hip and your elbow, of all things, right? The hip and the elbow. The hip and the elbow. The hip and the elbow. Watch. This is about This is a general principle. It's good for all exercises, but we're going to talk about this one. This is about getting the energy from the ground up to, in this case, your hand or your forearm, right? Which means there has to be a chi path through the body that's not broken. Most people who have not trained themselves can kind of do this, but they will break in a bunch of places. It's like gaps, and therefore you don't get much energy. All right, kind of weak. So this is about training yourself to smooth everything out. Right? You guys have seen this little demo that I do all the time, right? This little rock, it's a wonderful little rock. There's nothing wrong with this rock. But this is what most people's energy bodies are like when they begin Tai Chi or Qigong. It's pretty rough, and they've got, sharp corners, and your chi does not go around sharp corners. It just stops. That's what I mean by it being broken. When you practice and practice and practice, what happens is you change from this to this. It's really smooth, and the chi can really flow easily through there. Right? So this is about getting energy, say, from the bottom of this foot up into this forearm, which means it's going to come up the leg to the hip, and that's where your elbow meets it. And then your elbow lifts it, and it comes up your arm and goes out. And you can feel it. Now on the other side, right? It's coming up the left leg, it comes up to the left hip, and then into the elbow and the forearm and the hand and the fingers. So when back in the day when we used to push very occasionally with Master Zhang or Master Feng, you would never see them when they're pushing. You would never see them do that. They weren't going like this, right? They were just doing this. But they had done it so long, so many times, 10,000 times, 100,000 times, that they could connect the energy. The energy flow was really solid all the way through. So even though physically it didn't look like they were doing that much, energetically they were very strong. And you would go, how does this old man do this? Let me show you a move from the form, because there's one other thing I should say about this. What I'm about to say doesn't show up in every move, but it shows up in a lot of moves. All right, so I'm going to do the sixth move, or the beginning of the sixth move. And what I want you to watch is this forearm. In fact, I'm going to come up closer because I don't even care if you see my legs. All right. Now, watch this arm. It's not this. It's this. It's like my upper arm has been welded to my ribs. I'm going to lift something. If I lift like this, that means I'm using my arms to lift. And that's going to put tremendous strain on my shoulders. It's not very strong, and I'm actually putting my shoulders in danger. Instead, when I lift, right, I'm going to use my trunk. Jill, does that make sense? Okay. The same thing, or something very close to it, is going on with this move. Watch. Right? My upper arm is almost welded to my ribs. Now it separates just a little bit. Right? And again, my upper arm is welded to my ribs. And my ribs move. Or you could say, I'm welding my upper arm to my trunk. Right? And it's my trunk that is moving. Trunk. 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 One last thing. When you do that motion, you're going to be going from the danjian to the tanzhuang. Right. Danjian, I'm down low. I'm actually in my back, right? Now watch. I'm going to come up to my tanzhuang. That puts a force going out. Okay, so there's, Catherine, it's very simple. Yes, it's very, very simple. There's a lot of stuff going on. That's why it's very misleading to think these are simple exercises. They're very complex. The good part is if you get all this stuff for this move, you're going to get it for a lot of the other moves too. Because it gets into your body and you start to go, oh, okay, well, that must be like that. Exactly. But it usually takes a couple of years to kind of get this stuff in. Or right, they're just variations on the same move. Okay, guys, we're a couple minutes over, but all right, we'll just keep practicing this until it gets in there. All right. Ciao. You all have a good day. We'll see you next time.